I have Union Minister Mr. Jitendra Singh, sir. A big day today, sir. If you could give us some, today, how is the mood like among, the scientists? Because you met all of them, sir. Just a quick answer.
No,
How is the mood today?
as you yourself saw, the mood is upbeat. And interestingly, incidentally, not only in the scientific fraternity, but across the country, across all sections of society, from children to youth to elder citizens, they feel proud. They feel as if they have achieved something. They have achieved there's a sense of having attained supremacy in the world arena. Rightly so, because today this heralds the beginning of India's wider global role in the world arena and the emerging world scenario of the 21st century. And this has been possible because in the last few years, the government has worked very hard to create an enabling milieu. And I'm glad, I must thank Prime Minister Modi has been very supportive about it. Till few years back, nobody thought that space sector could open for the private players. This place where we are sitting was forbidden. You guys were hardly allowed in. Now you have such a huge crowd of media over here. Whereas earlier on it was not so. A brief press note would be sent out. So this has brought all the stakeholders together, supplemented the resources, both the knowledge resources as well as the financial resources. Even today's mission, we have a huge contribution from the industry happening. And I think that is a great contribution by this government. The resources were there. The assets were there, but they were not being put to right use.
So talking about the government, when you have a setback like what happened in 2019, it's easy to, say that probably we cannot. But to bounce back from that, there's a lot of effort that's needed even from the government, a push that's needed. The government, you've been saying, under Prime Minister Modi, that has been given. How much of that has helped really in today's successful launch?
I think first and foremost, Prime Minister Modi has always been forthcoming. Never for a minute or for anything has he relented or been discouraging. Chandrayaan 2 was not a failure in the strict sense because we did land. Only thing, the things did not go as we had envisaged. So our rover is there, some of the findings have been gathered, but all the outcomes that we had planned were not accomplished in totality. And so learning from that, even otherwise, even after a successful mission, there is a tendency to learn even from the successful mission. Sometimes it occurs to you, look at this is a pitfall, which should not have been there. Next time I will see this is not there. So moving on from there, now we have a very foolproof mission which is being sent, taking care of all these things which might have been overlooked in Chandrayaan 2, plus also adding some of the supplements which would have taken otherwise quite some time to be added on.
So finally, August 23rd is the D-Day, is what we are what we've been told. Can we expect you and the Prime Minister to be there on that day?
We will work out that.
Now let's visit that historic moment of the launch of Chandrayaan 3. Times Now was present at Sriharikota, bringing live images from the launch site and also witnessing this absolutely remarkable moment.
Well, the countdown has ended for the launch of the LVM-3, the rocket that is, of course, going to take our dreams to the moon. This is, of course, the lunar mission that we're talking about. You see right there in front of me, dreams of a billion Indians taking off as we look to write a new chapter in the Indian space odyssey. More importantly, of course, after the failure of Chandrayaan 2, many have been hoping that this day is, in front of us very soon, and it is right now happening right in front of our eyes as we see this humongous rocket. Any time now, of course, you would look at, a small separation of sorts as it leaves the Earth's atmosphere, and you can see, of course, the crackling sound, and it shows you the prowess of ISRO, the efforts that the scientists have put in, all of that bearing fruit in this successful launch up until now that we are looking at. And in a few days from now, the 23rd of August is when we are expecting the satellite with the lander and the rover to reach the surface of the moon, to achieve the soft landing that was, of course, evasive last time around. As we look at these dramatic visuals, it is a reminder that ISRO and as Indians, we can achieve any milestone that we dream of. And while, of course, many countries like the United States, like the Russians, and of course the Chinese in the recent past have been, carrying out multiple lunar missions, this, of course, is the time where India writes its own history. With video journalist Sunil, Deepak Bopana for Times Now.
Now, Times Now also spoke to the Nehru Planetarium director, who helps us understand where exactly Chandrayaan 3 will attempt landing with the help of a moon model.
अभी तक जितनी जो लैंडिंग हुई है वो हम देखते हैं कि जो चंद्रमा का बीच वाला या भूमध्य भाग जो है ये इस इलाके में लैंडिंग हुई है। अभी हम पहली बार जो है वो दक्षिण गोलार्ध में दक्षिण भाग में हम लैंडिंग करने जा रहे हैं। तो उसमें ये है कि जैसे आप ऊपर वाला भाग देखेंगे तो वहाँ पे तो हम देखते हैं कि तकरीबन 14 दिन का सूर्य प्रकाश रहता है, उसके बाद में 14 दिन अंधेरा रहता है। पर दक्षिण भाग में जो है वो जहाँ कई ऐसी जगह हैं कि जहाँ पे सूर्य प्रकाश नहीं है और वहाँ पे वैज्ञानिकों ने देखा है, चंद्रयान 1 के समय भी हम जान गए थे कि वहाँ पे पानी है, बर्फ के रूप में पानी वहाँ पे है। तो वो पानी वहाँ पे जा कर के हम देखेंगे कि उसकी सतह कैसी है, उसकी मिट्टी कैसी है, मिट्टी का परीक्षण किया जाएगा। साथ में ही जो चंद्रमा पे जो क्वेक आते हैं, पृथ्वी पर जैसे भूकंप आते हैं तो चंद्रमा पे भी कंपन आते हैं, तो उनको भी मेजर किया जाएगा। तो ऐसे कई उपकरण हैं, कई खोज हैं जो चंद्रमा की धरती पे होंगे।
We'll slip into a very short break for the time being. We have a lot more lined up on the other side. Do not go anywhere.